guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, Brook Faye. If you're new to my channel is about law, personal finance, and lifestyle. And today's segment will be on law. So those of you who are aspiring attorneys looking to go to law school, or you are in law school already, this video is for you. So today's topic will be 5 things I wish I knew going into law school. So y'all, if you're ready for this tea, get on ready because we're getting into it right now. Okay, so law school is great. It really is. It honestly was one of the best experiences I've had, and the level of education I got, it, taught me so much, it connected me with so many people, and I would not change anything about it. However, if I could go back, there would be some things that I would take with me just to teach myself going in. And these are the things I'm going to tell you. So if you're getting ready to go into law school, these are 5 things that if I were you, I would definitely take into consideration, or I would apply. Don't be scared of them or anything like that, but just make sure, you apply it so you can really benefit off of it and it can help you in the future in your law school career. So yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so number 1, the first thing in law school, I'll be honest, you guys, I didn't know this. Some people probably did, and you can say I'm dumb for it or whatever. But the first thing is you are graded on a curve. Yes, child, you are graded on a curve. And going into law school, I really did not know this. I mean, I figured it out before grades came out, but I guess I didn't really understand the level of the curve, I guess. And the curve varies depending on the law school. It does. So that's one thing to, be mindful of, but all law schools have a curve. That is part of law school. And that curve actually, it generally becomes less rigid your 2L and 3L year, but your 1L year, there is a curve, period. And so what that means is you are essentially in competition with the other peers when it comes to your grades. So, there's a set percentage who can get A's, and then there's a set group who can get like that, B plus range, and then you fall in line after that. So be mindful of that. It's not like undergrad or any other school anymore where, everybody can get A's or everybody can get, B pluses or something like that. That is not the case in law school, especially not your first year. So be mindful of that, get as, many points as you can on those exams. Like really try to give you, what the professor is looking for, because, it makes a difference. Those little points make a difference on your exam. So this is actually going to roll into tip number 2. Your first year, you need to kill it, especially your first semester. I will say that my first semester, I did okay, but I did not kill it. And going back, if I knew these things, I really would have made sure my first semester of law school, I was, going to my professor's office more. I was really trying to figure out what they wanted in the exam, like all of that. I would have made sure I killed it on my grades. However, I was still able to get like a really good job at a big law firm, all of that, but I wasn't in like the very top of my class just because, I didn't know some of those things. Like, even though I knew the rule of law, even though I knew, maybe the answer, I didn't write it correctly. I didn't write it the way that you're supposed to. I didn't necessarily do the IRAC the way the professor wanted. Or like, I didn't say, this is the issue, this is the rule, here's my analysis and the conclusion. Like, I probably just put it out there or something, so it makes a big difference. So in order to kill it your first year, a huge thing that you need to do is you need to get to know your professors. Yes, you need to get to know your professors. You need to go to office hours. You need to ask them. And the thing is, your professors want you to come to them. They want to be able to explain to you. So I have had professors where I've been in there for hours and they explain something to me. And don't feel dumb, like you're not the only one. Like, I know sometimes it like takes a hit in your ego. You're like, oh, I'm asking for something basic. No, don't worry about that. Like, just go in there, but make sure when you go in there, you have like your questions written out. Don't just go in there and be like, hey, yeah, like go in there know what you're going to ask those questions, take it, work on it, and then you get more questions, come back, and just keep coming back. And, really make sure you do that throughout the semester, and don't just do like the last 2 weeks coming to exams, because their time is now a lot more limited because a lot more students are trying to come those last 2 weeks. So they wait last minute, but you're going to be a smart law student. You're going to be smart, and you're going to go throughout the entire semester. So I wish I did that. I didn't really do that until my second and third year. But you guys can benefit. You can learn from me, my mistakes, and do that. In addition, like, to doing that, side note, it also helps you develop a relationship with your professors. And your professors know a lot of people. They know the law. And that is a huge thing. Like, it's networking. And then also when you get into the practice of law, if I'm like, for example, if I decide to go into bankruptcy or tax work, I could reach out to my bankruptcy professor or my tax professors, which I definitely will do for my tax LL.M, and say, hey, I have this question. I'm really trying to figure it out. I really can't find, is there any way you can help me with this? And sometimes they really will try to point you in the right direction. Just give them a hypothetical, and they might be able to help you with that. So yeah. Okay, so in addition to, killing it and talking to your professors, one class that you really should take seriously, which I feel like, I took it seriously and I did well in it, but I could have done much, much better. I would say, you're going to take torts, contracts, all those different classes that are going to be testing the bar exam, but you're also going to take legal writing your first semester, legal writing and research. And you guys, I would say this class is so, so, so important. I would say, honestly, your first year is one of the most important. And the reason I say that is because after your first year, you are going to go into that summer, and generally you'll have like a summer associate position, or you'll clerk, or you'll do something like that during the summer. So for me, I was a summer associate at a law firm, and then I did the other half like at an in-house. So the work you do there is generally going to be a lot of legal writing. You're going to write memos. Like, honestly, that's what you're going to do the most. And as an associate, that's what you do a lot. You do a lot of research and writing. And so that's why it is so important your first year. All those 8 subjects in the law they're very important too. But you've got to know how to research in Westlaw and Lexis. You've got to know how to write a memo. You have to know how to write. Okay, this is the issue, rule, analysis, conclusion, clear enough so that if a partner or, a judge asks you to write a memo on this issue, you know how to write it and communicate it in a way that's effective. So just as much as you need to know the law, you need to know how to communicate what you found from the law. So this is just a huge, huge tip. Please, you guys, if you're going into your first year of law school, take legal writing very, very seriously. Like, take it so serious. Go to your professor's office, write drafts, practice, if you have like a mentor who's already in law, and if they have time, of course, I understand lawyers were extremely busy, but if they have time to look over, 1 or 2 pages and say, hey, you need to work on this or something like that, make sure you do that. And make sure you learn the blue book, citations, things like that as well in those classes. Okay, so my last tip, so tip number 5 is, this actually goes into like networking and stuff like that. And jobs, getting those jobs. Obviously, we come to law school to get a job. So when it comes to, applying for law school, of course, like I said, your 1L year is the most important when it comes to grades, and getting those summer associate positions lined up and stuff like that. Of course, you still need to do well your second and third year. And again, by no means, if you haven't done as well your first year, like myself, don't get discouraged, because you can still improve and you can still have opportunities. Like, that happened to me, but I was able to improve, and I was still able to work at a bigger law firm. So tip number 5, and this is actually one of the main reasons, tip number 5 is, don't rely on OCIs to get your job. You have to network, okay? Like, you have to. So for me, the job that I accepted actually does OCIs a lot at my school. They're like actually one of the bigger firms that come to the school. And the thing was, I didn't even get an OCI with them. I didn't even get OCI with them. I do remember applying, but I didn't get an interview with them through OCI. I actually got an interview for this law firm through Sir Balsa. They had a convention. I'm part of Balsa, and I went to that convention, and that firm happened to be interviewing. And so I did that interview, and they're like, okay, well, we want you to interview at our firm for like a callback. And then I ended up getting the summer associate position. So I say all that to say I would not have known about that convention if I wasn't networking, if I wasn't in other organizations. But also, this firm was not the only place I applied to. So even though I, did my summer associate position with them both summers, I also, did a summer associate position for another law firm. I did in-house for another company, and I was able to clerk for a judge one semester doing an externship, and I was able to do another externship for a whole semester working on Capitol Hill. So I was doing a lot of things. I was doing a lot of networking. I still did a lot of networking in my LL.M program. And, similar to how I said I figured out what law school I wanted to attend, I kind of did the same when it came to jobs. Of course, it wasn't like all those different factors, but I made an Excel spreadsheet. You guys know I'm an accountant before I'm a lawyer, so I'm going to use Excel. But I made an Excel spreadsheet, and if I can find that spreadsheet, then I'll show you guys another video. But it was at least 75 law firms, businesses, places that I applied to, at least 75. And I had a long list, and I applied. I did OCIs as well. Like I said, I just didn't give that firm, but I did do on-campus interviews. I, did things by reaching out to law firms, emailing them, saying, hey, I'm interested, sending my resume cover letter, connecting, going to coffees with different attorneys and partners and stuff like that. I was putting myself out there. Like, you have to be your biggest salesman. You've got to push yourself out there, and you cannot rely on your school to do that for you through OCIs. Like, you have to do it. So that's what I did. And you guys, it was not easy. In addition to studying, for, classes and being called on, like, that was extra. Like, I did that in addition to doing that. I benefited from it. So like I said, I had at least 75, firms, companies that I had on that list. And what I would do is I would go down, I had labels at the top, like the name, what part of the summer, like some firms did full summer, some did beginning or second half. I'd have that information on there. I'd have their point of contact who I was reaching out to, when I contacted them, when I did a follow-up. And then I even had a line for whether it was still open, rejected, or offered. And you guys, like, out of that 75 to like 100 firms, I can't remember how many, I need to go through and look, but out of that list, there was so many red, and red on mine stood for rejections. There were so many rejections. That's just part of it. But you cannot let it discourage you. You cannot let those rejections discourage you from applying. Like, you got to shoot your shot, okay? You have to be your best advocate, and you have to think you only need one yes, just one. So shoot your shot, apply to as many people, connect, put your, self out there, and be your best advocate. So, I did that my first year and second year, and I got multiple offers. So, I was, it was a benefit to be able to, at the end of my second summer, to, have multiple job offers. And that's the goal. You want this to translate into a job offer. You want to be able to have a job lined up before you graduate. So I was very fortunate to have my job lined up my second summer, so that way I could go into 3L year in my LL.M program. So pretty much 2 years ahead of time, with the job already lined up, and with great people that I enjoyed working with. Because for me in that particular instance, I worked with that firm for 2 summers. I really got to know the people, and I just loved the people who I was working with. So those are the tips that I have going into law school. Sorry, you guys, I know this was a little long, but those were things that I wish I knew, or things that, I did. And I would really, really, like I say, make sure you do this going into your first year of law school. So if you guys have any questions, please, message me. It's, a lot of people message me on Instagram. That's, I'm on there a lot. So please feel free to message me on Instagram. I'm on there at _brookefay. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Any questions you have, please put them down below. And I will see you guys in the next videos. So yeah, that's it. Bye, you guys.